Before we get into the video, just for YouTube purposes, I just want to say that the movie clips that we have in this video, we do not own, but we are using it under fair use. Enjoy the video. Hey, what's up you guys? It is Shacey Bender. I'm Cheyenne. I'm Sierra, and welcome back to this week's video. So, why did you just scream? I don't really know. So, today we're gonna be talking about... Don't talk like that. Okay. So, today we're going to be talking about BLURT. Not too long ago, we came across this movie, and as soon as we saw it, we were like, we have to make a video about this. This is like a Nickelodeon movie. They're just not really known for making movies like how Disney Channel is. Yeah, so this one's only like, I don't even know, 35, 40 minutes. Yeah, I think it was like 45 minutes long. Like, it wasn't even that long of a movie. This movie stars Jace Norman and frickin' JoJo Siwa. I don't know, I find that exciting. Cheyenne's like a Jace Norman stan. Just kidding. But like, she used to be a fan when she was a kid. Yeah. We just want to talk about what BLURT even was, because like, I feel like not a lot of people know about it. You know, it's kind of like weird, so we felt that we should talk about it. So, how does this start? Like, you know, where do we start in this film? We have our girl JoJo Siwa. I don't know what her name is in this movie. I don't know if we have it in our notes or not. I was literally gonna guess Veronica? Oh yeah, I think that's her name. Wait, for real? Yeah, for real. But I think we'll just call her JoJo Siwa throughout the video, because it's like, I'm not gonna remember Veronica. Also, we see our main character, Jeremy, aka Jace Norman, but I'll actually call him Jeremy throughout the video, because I think that's like easier to remember. The movie starts, and they're on their way to school. He's driving. The movie starts, and it's a little cringy, you know, a little cheesy, which I like a little cringe. I like a little cheese. We can hear Jeremy's thoughts as he's driving. And as, like, we're hearing his thoughts, JoJo starts to talk to Jeremy. She's just like, you know, you're way too nice to people. You're a pushover. You're a doormat. Because they were talking about how he had the opportunity to get a better car, because he has, like, a really ugly car that's like really old. He didn't though, because he just wanted to be nice about it, I guess with his parents or something. So basically after the car ride, they end up at school, and I guess like something that we should bring up, like basically once he gets to the school, a bunch of like characters are introduced, and one of them is Corinne. And so Jeremy has a crush on Corinne, but like, I'll be honest, like she looks like 25 in this movie, and definitely not a high schooler, which is kind of weird because this is Nickelodeon. Whereas like, I feel like, you know, they cast younger because it's for children, but whatever. I mean, I don't even know how old Jace Norman was during the filming of this. I think he was like maybe like 17, 18 years old. Because this was a movie from 2018, so like he was still a teenager. I think he's 21 now, right? I think she was introduced because he was like looking at her funny or something because he has a crush on her or whatever. Did they play that weird song? We'll talk about the song probably later. So then there's also this girl named Millie who is introduced. She kind of is like that girl who goes unnoticed, even though she's actually like doing things and is kind of like everywhere. She was like sitting by a tree and like sees him kind of like being a perv, I guess. I mean, he's not really a perv, but it's kind of creepy to like stare like from afar. You know, staring from afar at Corinne.
Are you okay?
It's Millie! What's up? How long were you sitting there?
Pretty much the whole time you've been standing there staring at Corinne.
Staring at Corinne. Yeah, no, I wasn't doing that.
Jeremy's in class, and I don't know why, but he was just thinking about how his underwear is itchy. He's like, I really need to scratch my butt. And he's like, there's a girl behind me, like I can't just go and scratch my butt in front of her.
Shannon Janky. I can't scratch my butt in front of Shannon.
The teacher asks him a question in class, and he just blurts out loud.
Scratch my butt.
Because that's what he was thinking. Like, why? Like, I know the movie's called BLURT, but we didn't get to the blurting part yet. Yeah. I guess this is foreshadowing to what happens later in the movie. This whole issue that's going on, which is going to kind of be like a conflict that ends up leading to like something that will be like a turning point, I guess, in this film, is the fact that the teacher really just wants Jeremy to participate in class more because he's too quiet. So she tells him to run for class president because he's quiet. Yeah, like that really irritates me as a quiet person because like I never talked when I went to regular brick and mortar public school, and I swear like people would say that stuff to me all the time, like you should speak up more or like you should like actually talk. It's like, what if I don't want to? Like that's just not me. Like I don't want to talk. But he also just really doesn't want to run for class president because he would be running against Richie Capri, your average 95-year-old teenager. Okay, 95-year-old is a stretch. Maybe like 30. Yeah, like 30-year-old high schooler. But honestly, like when Richie is like brought up and Jeremy's like thinking about him, like because again we can hear his thoughts. He kind of seems like he has a crush on Richie. It's kind of funny. Like he's really hot. That's what Jeremy's like always thinking. So he actually ends up talking to Richie Capri, and that's like why we end up hearing his thoughts about it. He's talking to him, Richie. He's kind of like, oh, I'm so busy, and like talking about like something about writing some sort of like paper, I think. He was like, oh, I don't know when I'm gonna do it. And like Jeremy's like, oh, I'll write your paper for you. Even though he like didn't want to, because like as he was like talking to him, he keeps having these thoughts about him, and he said that he did it because he has sunbeam eyes. Like he was seduced by Richie Capri. Jeremy just thinks that Richie Capri is so hot. He just can't say no. So JoJo has a dance recital coming up, and this is literally JoJo Siwa's origin story. She goes to the mall with Jeremy, and she's like, you know, I need like an accessory for my outfit for this dance recital, and she sees a bow store, and she's like, oh my gosh, I need it. Literally JoJo Siwa origin story. Amazing. I like that that was in the movie. I thought it was funny. Okay, so this is kind of cringe and a little dated. Like years from now, like this might be a little dated and people will be like, oh, we know when this is from. Because there's a virtual reality kiosk at the mall. The guy working there, he keeps saying things like about the product. It kind of catches Jeremy's attention like a little bit. It's not like he wants to go like try it, but he's just like, what is this guy saying? The worker points him out specifically to try out the VR headset. I don't know what he says. It's like, you young man, I think you would want to try it. Why am I trying like Waluigi? The VR doesn't look great in the movie. I mean, I don't know what the budget for this was. This is like basically what I'll say. But it looked pretty good for the movie, to be honest. Like for Nickelodeon
Like, it's not like
movie.
it looked bad, but obviously for virtual reality, it's not like it looked real, like, or something.
Anyway, he's trying out the VR headset, and so the worker tells him, like, with this VR, you can imagine anything that you want, and it will happen in the virtual reality. So he's like, fantasize. I guess we find out that Jeremy's wildest dream, apparently, was talking to Corinne. Cringe. Honestly, like, anyway. I don't know how I can explain how we got to this next part. So he ends up actually dancing with the virtual reality Corinne. Yeah, but simultaneously he starts dancing with a mannequin in real life at the mall. Like so into the virtual reality that he's like, oh, I want to dance with Corinne. But then like he also starts dancing with a mannequin, acting like it was Corinne like in the VR, but like actually like real. I don't. Yeah, it's kind of weird. He keeps running around the mall with this mannequin, making a fool of himself. But the funniest part is that he literally goes into the freaking mall fountain with this freaking mannequin. Like, literally everyone at the mall is recording this going on with their phones.
Get out of that fountain! You're gonna get the gear all wet! Corinne! The sea monster's grabbing me! It's so realistic!
He ends up, like, falling backwards into the water because, again, like, he's not supposed to be in there, and the worker from the kiosk keeps trying to, like, you know, rip the mannequin out of his hands, and he ends up flying backwards, and the VR headset gets damaged because it got wet. And for some reason, like, he starts getting electrocuted. Was it electrocution? I don't know, but, like, something weird starts happening where, like, there's, like, a shocking thing on his neck from wearing the headset. Like, I don't
you think
know.
it would be up here? Yeah,
Like,
I don't know why
know.
it was shocking him down here.
Hurry up, please.
So then he wakes up the next day and he can't stop saying what he's thinking. Anything that he thinks, he says. He just can't control it. He even makes fun of our girl, JoJo Siwa, and says out loud that she has really bad morning breath. Just because he, like, couldn't control it. It was just a thought that he had, but, like, he can't stop saying things and thinking out loud. He can't stop saying all this stuff, and so basically he's like, I need to be alone, and he goes to the bathroom in his house, and basically he starts being like, what is happening? What is going on? I guess he realized that the VR disaster screwed with his brain, and now he can't control what he says out loud. His family members are kind of concerned about him, like, why is he like this? Also, I'd just like to say Coach Malone from Diary of a Wimpy Kid is Jeremy's dad. I just like to say that because I love Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and I just noticed that he was the dad. Because, like, Jeremy is, like, acting weird when he gets in the car with his sister to take her to school. Like, what I wrote in my notes is puberty in the car, because, like, she just starts accusing him of going through puberty, I guess, because, like, she's like, why are you being so weird? Are you going through puberty? He was like, no, I went through puberty a little bit ago. Stop accusing me. They pull into the school parking lot. He gets out and some girl is making fun of his car for being, like, old and gross, and she's like, the junkyard is that way, and he literally is a savage. And he talks back at her because it's just what he was thinking. You know, I swear Nickelodeon would literally make a compilation, like, Jeremy's most savage moments. Cause, like, they do that. They do that with, like, other Nickelodeon stuff. Like, they would do, like, Tori Vega's most savage moments. I honestly love those videos. Like, I love that Nickelodeon is, like, posting stuff like that with their, like, compilations and stuff. Like, I like the Nickelodeon YouTube channel. Basically, again, after she makes that comment about his car, he actually talks back because it's, like, what he's thinking, and, like, she gets, like, really pissed off about it, but it's like, you were, like, being rude in the first place. But anyway, he is back at class in the school, and the whole class, like, literally starts making fun of him because he can't stop, you know, saying stuff out loud, and so he's thinking, like, weird stuff about, I don't know, trying to, like, look cool and things. I swear he's like, I want to be a mystery man, like, you know? Sorry, I am Jason right now. Anyway. And he literally starts bullying the teacher, practically, because he's, like, thinking in his head, like, oh my gosh, she kind of looks old, like, I wonder how old she is. Randomly. It's kind of stupid, because, like, obviously, like, I know they're just doing it for the movie's purposes, but, like, that woman obviously looks young. Like, we'll probably have her on the screen. She looks young, so. And she kind of, like, gets a little flustered about it. She's like, when I said to, like, speak up more in class, this is not what I meant. Like, literally, shut up. So now after, like, reading back, like, our notes, I'm assuming that the first time he did see Corinne, that it played this cringy song, which I'll be talking about now. I guess, like, after class, he bumps into Corinne in the hallway, and they play the cringy song again. And it's like, I believe tonight. He accidentally, like, says to her that she's hot because he can't, like, control what he's thinking, like, ew. Basically, after that, we're gonna, like, skip through some things where he's, you know, back at his house after the school day, I guess. And he has this idea that, like, if he can't speak, then he can't say what his thoughts are. So he tries to wear out his voice so he can't speak anymore. So he, like, started, like, singing stuff. There's a whole montage of him trying to wear out his voice, you know, shoving hot sauce down his throat and, like, all sorts of things. But it doesn't work, though. Even after the whole montage was over, like, he could still speak. His plan didn't work at all. I feel like this movie is a bunch of filler. Like, to a certain extent, yeah. But it's all kind of, like, tolerable because it's, again, it's only, like, 40 minutes. So it's like, yeah, it's okay for there to be a little bit of filler. It's more like, you know, just random stuff that is supposed to be, like, funny. And, like, that has to do with what is going on. Basically, shenanigans about blurting. So, JoJo is practicing for her dance recital, and Jeremy Jeremy interrupts her dancing and tells her what's going on with him, like, because he has, like, so much anxiety. She was basically like, you know what, we should go talk to that guy who was running the VR kiosk and we'll figure this out. He was like, oh my gosh, thank you, I could kiss you? That's your sister, hun. Like, don't say things like that. Like, honestly, that's sickening. Yeah, because they was like, in a brotherly way. And it's still like, I don't know. I think they could have cut that joke from the movie.
It wasn't funny, it was just weird.
Yeah, it just made me uncomfortable.
Basically, after having this conversation, they go to the mall and talk to the VR kiosk worker, and he's just kind of like being ridiculous, because like basically after they explain their problem, he's like, I knew this would happen. Like, what do you mean though? Has it happened before? Like, what's going on? So he just literally keeps telling him like garbage advice and to do like all these like random like ridiculous things. And like, I guess they're not totally ridiculous, but it's like, it's not good when it is in the context of the situation. Like, he can't just like do this and everything's gonna be better.
Because he was trying to like convince him to like try to find ways to control it, like go take a friggin' public speaking class or something. Like, what?
Yeah, and so basically he just wants him to go along with it so like he doesn't get in trouble.
Machine thing, it broke my brother's brain. Okay, listen, he used to be like a total lip zipperer, but now he says every little thing that just pops into his head.
You could get from the other day. I was afraid this was going to happen. Everything's fine. The machine brings your deepest desires to life, right? You wanted to speak up more. There's been a little glitch.
So back at school, Jeremy's teacher still is like bothering him about the school election. So she goes up to him again and asks for him to consider doing it and like consider running. He would have to go to some like election meeting, like to be the school president, like after school. And then a little bit later, he runs into Richie Capri again. Like, what a name. That's so weird. I never heard of the last name Capri. He didn't do Richie's paper, and he told him that it was like unfair for him to dump his work on other people and that he's not going to write his paper. So obviously Richie's like pissed.
No, I didn't do your papers. Okay, Richie, and I'm not going to.
What? Dude, I thought you were cool.
No, you're cool, Richie, and I'm a nobody. But that doesn't give you the right to dump all your work on other people.
Dude, if you're gonna get all touchy about it, man,
No, I'm not being touchy. Sunbeam eyes, I'm sorry.
I guess he kind of finally like stands up for himself, because like I think that Richie calls him the wrong name or something, and he was like, it's Jeremy. And then basically after that encounter, I guess he wants to run for class president because now he's mad at Richie Capri.
Not only that, but I feel like now, to a certain extent, he realizes that, like, maybe this whole blurting situation isn't, like, the worst thing in the world, and that, like, maybe he could use it to say things that he never thought he could.
Because he could finally stand up for himself. He was like, maybe I could just, like, you know, actually do public speaking, I guess, like, and, like, actually have good ideas for, like, class president and actually be able to speak on them.
Now Jeremy is in the running for class president. And so he's like setting up stuff for his campaign. He's like putting up posters and stuff and like putting up a banner to promote himself. And I don't know, while he's setting up, some kids are walking by and they're like, what are you doing? Like, why are you setting that up? And he's like, oh, I'm running for class president. And they're like, well, isn't that Richie Capri's job? And he's like, no, it's not. Like, anyone can run for class president and I'm doing it.
Wow, you know it line by line.
Yeah, I know. I've watched this movie like 3 times. He says some pretty embarrassing statements about himself because he was trying to say why he is right for being class president and why he's like good and why he should run.
But also he ends up just basically listing off things about like how he's different from Richie Capri, and so that goes in a bad direction because, you know, obviously he thinks that Richie Capri is cooler than him, and so he starts like listing off stuff that's kind of embarrassing. So then to like make himself shut up, the duct tape that he was using to put up the poster thing, like he just literally just puts duct tape on his mouth.
I bring a lot of different things to the table that Richie doesn't.
What makes you different?
I'm a hard worker, and Richie is kind of lazy. He's very popular while I'm socially awkward, and he has snappy clothes while I just kind of wear whatever my mom picks out for me. Why am I telling you this? She has probably kissed a girl while I am still practicing on my hand. You know what? That gives me an idea.
So it's after school now, and he goes to the election meeting, and we find out that Millie is also running for class president. At this point, Jeremy still has the duct tape on his mouth because he doesn't want to say anything, and everyone thinks it's a political statement for his campaign. After the meeting, it spreads around the school, and kids start wearing duct tape on their mouths because they think it's like symbolic of like giving a voice to the voiceless or something.
And it's like so embarrassing. Like, it looks so stupid to just see a bunch of like kids like in the background of the movie, and this happens throughout the whole rest of the movie. Just kids are walking around in school with blue duct tape on their mouths. And also, like, it just kind of makes me laugh that it's not even just like, you know, put duct tape on your mouth. It has to be the specific color. Like, everyone was wearing like the same exact duct tape that he was using.
Yeah, couldn't be any color duct tape. It had to be blue. Navy blue duct tape. All of the people that are running for president are competing for everyone's attention during their campaign. Richie Capri is just cringe. He thinks that bringing in pizza for people to eat is like gonna get him to win. He's just like, who wants pizza, guys? Like, walking in like so cringe. Pizza cringe. Pizza equals cheese equals cringe. Like, that's it. For some reason, people are falling for it. They're like, oh, I'm gonna vote for him now because like I want to eat that pizza. And people are like doing it. Like, why? Like, you don't know where that pizza has been. I'm just saying, like, can we really trust Richie Capri?
Hi, would you like to discuss the problems with the gym? Do you have any issues like to talk about? I'm here.
Richie! Jerry Bear! Come on, grab a slice.
Literally in love. After that, Jeremy is like, I need to convince all the clubs at school to vote for me. So he goes and talks to like all the clubs, but the thing is like there is a bunch of problems going on within the school between the clubs, and so basically he's like talking about it with them to try to figure out what the issues are and how he can solve them, but he can't really come up with any solutions, and in fact he ends up kind of being like offensive to some of the clubs because he doesn't like what they're interested in. Then like it comes to the Spanish club, and it's just cringe.
No offense, but it's like they want him to speak Spanish while he's in the room, and it's just like cringy white guy speaks Spanish. I don't know. There's like nothing else to really say about it.
Compañeros, vengo en busca de su voto. Para presidente. No para la gloria, pero para bien por usted.
Muy impresionante, Jeremy.
Gracias.
So he's just trying to win over all of the clubs and also find out their issues so he can solve them as president, even though he can't come up with any ideas. So really the only thing he's doing is trying to win them over and make him seem likable to them.
So like after this, like I guess he like comes into school. Wait, does like everyone think that he's like cool now, or like
Yeah,
what? Like he's
just-
like spinning around. Like this shot where he like throws a carton of milk, but there's milk still in it, and he misses the garbage can in the shot anyway, so it just splashes milk on the wall. It's like really disturbing to me. Like milk is really gross, and so just thinking about that, it's just like it's gonna smell like fat on the
Oh my
wall. Like,
gosh, like
I am deeply disturbed.
this scene gives me major Diary of a Wimpy Kid vibes because it's like Greg Heffley walking down the hallway.
He's like, I'm so cool. Like one of his fantasies, especially.
And also, like, just multiple times, I think, like, while he's walking down the hallway, he sees Corinne and Richie, and he's just like, oh my gosh, they're so effing hot. Like, he's, like, in love with both of them at the same time, like, kinda, like, honestly.
Like, of course that's, like, this is, like, Nickelodeon. Like, of course this is not what they were going for. They were just trying to be like, oh, Richie is likable. Not that, like, he has a crush on him, but, like, you know, if you read too much into it, it kind of seems like he has a crush on, like, Richie and Corinne, even though he's really only has a crush on Corinne.
Jeremy seems a little fruity. Bicon? We don't know.
No, but like he's literally like non-stop complimenting them and like thinking about them in his head, even though he's like, oh, I hate Richie, but he's always just like, he's so likable and charming and like weird stuff.
And
so.
I love those sunbeam eyes. That's him. Jeremy basically ends up making a speech in the school, like, randomly. The students start paying attention to him, and they really like the things that he's saying. He's just talking about how he's just more relatable, and he's more like the rest of the student body rather than someone like Richie Capri, who's like a popular guy. And so people are enjoying his speech so much that like when Richie comes in with that stinky pizza, no one even cares. I don't know, I'm just getting the vibe that like it's really like smelly. Like, he probably is like, I'm gonna feed these kids at school like 1-cent pizza. It might be like fake cheese, like it's not very good quality, but like the kids fall for it. Why do you like do these things? Like, why do you think this way? I don't know. Basically, Corinne comes up to Jeremy when he's at his locker, and he can't stop, like, you know, saying like what he's thinking, and so he was like, oh, I should ask her out. And then he was like, oh wait, like I can't believe I said that out loud, and is like hiding in the locker. But basically she's like, no, you can ask me out. And so he asks her out and she says yes. In our notes, I believe Sierra wrote this. She must have been feeling that moment when taking the notes. She says, I'm puking. I don't know, I just don't like that kind of stuff. They kind of gross. Yeah, like, why are they like, you're hot, and like talking about like stuff. Also, like locker scenes when people are like asking other people out, like it makes me uncomfortable.
You feel like trapped.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's just me, because like there's very much sexual implications there always at like a locker scene, and me being like asexual, it just makes me uncomfortable.
It's like this dance. So like, and then you can't like leave.
Or they're like leaning up against the locker. I hate it, but anyway.
Him and Corinne go to like this place, what is it, freaking like Cafe DM, trying to act like this is like popular, and it's like, oh yeah, this is like a cool movie. Like,
yeah,
we're so hip.
So basically it's a place where all the cool kids go to take photos of their food. That's why I said this movie is a bit dated.
Yeah, but it's not too bad to the point where it's like unwatchable, like the Emoji Movie. But sorry, that's the only thing I think of, because like technology and texting. By the way, our ring light is dying. Yeah, so sorry about that.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to deal with it, because like I really don't want to have to like stop filming so it can charge. I just want to like talk about the movie.
Basically, he goes on the date with Corinne. We have a on the DM. I don't know. Anyway, but Millie is also there while, you know, they're on their date. Like he notices her and he's like, oh, hello, you know, starts talking to Millie. They start talking about maybe like stuff about like the election, because again, that's really the only thing that they really have going on currently. And Millie starts talking about like what her ideas were for like if she were to become president, like solutions to the problems that were going on in the clubs.
Which I don't understand, like, why would you tell him all of your ideas? This is a presidential election.
Well, I think it was because like he was telling her that he was like struggling. She was like, oh well, I came up with this. Maybe she was more like looking for approval or something.
Yeah.
But that's not what ended up happening. You will find out what happened later. Corinne is like annoyed and is being superficial and all this other stuff.
I swear she asked like, oh, once you're president, you'll have like control of the yearbook. Let me have my own page.
Yeah, because this is like the whole point, is that she wants Jeremy to become president so she can get in the yearbook more, I guess.
Just like even uplift her popularity even more.
Class president gets final say over the yearbook. So if I like, oh, I don't know, I want my very own yearbook page. Is that something you'd be open to discussing?
Jeremy realizes that Corinne is not a good person and that she's kind of self-absorbed. By going on this date, he actually forgot about his sister, Jojo Siwa. So he missed his sister's dance recital. He missed it because he went on the date. He was like, oh my gosh, I need to go. So he arrives at the dance recital late, and everyone is really annoyed with him because he will just not stop talking.
Of course, he can't help it because, you know, he can't stop blurting things out because of what happened to him. But, like, you know, he just keeps screaming things to Jojo on the stage, and it's just super distracting to her. And, you know, she's getting really embarrassed because everyone is just like, oh my gosh, what is this guy doing? By the way, the lighting looks different because we went to go plug in our ring light for a little bit.
And I took a nap.
Because we're filming this late at night. So Jojo gets really embarrassed because he's just, you know, yelling things at her on the stage, and it gets her really flustered and worked up. He distracts her so much to the point that she literally, you know, messes up her dance.
And there were like lights behind her, by the way, so wanted to clarify that so when Sierra states the next thing, it make sense.
She knocks over this really big prop. When she knocks it over, literally someone gets crushed by it.
Also, weren't there sparks because it was like a light?
Yeah.
Was not good. JoJo was like really mad at her brother. Basically, after that happens, JoJo tells Jeremy that he's starting to lose sight of what was important and that all he wants to do is be popular. Being popular equals bad.
So it's the election day at school. Jeremy was asking her about the election, if she's gonna even like watch the debate. She says yeah, but like I don't know who I'm gonna vote for. So like she's like, I might not vote for you because you know you're clearly like not the same person that you used to be.
The debate begins. Corinne is moderating the debate. Sneaky. Basically, she asks the other candidates up on the podiums, you know, the other people running in the election, questions that will make them look bad so Jeremy will win. I swear, it was like kind of funny though. I will give the movie actually props for this. I swear, she asked like Richie Capri where he was
On certain days
because like
bad things happen to people.
I know, and she's like, why did you run over the dog?
I signed out of school early, and on that very same day, Nicole Peccaro's dog was hit by a car.
Oh, come on. You gotta be kidding me. That's not even a real question.
Who
Are you
hits
writing
people's
these
dogs with their
questions?
car?
Because Corinne was there when Millie told Jeremy her ideas, Corinne was like, oh, you know, I'm gonna use this against her for his benefit. And she basically asks him about the clubs and about the things that she had solutions for. And because he literally can't keep it in, he basically blurts out all of her ideas. It makes her really upset with him. Like, Millie is really devastated because she trusted him.
And it also just makes her look bad because literally what Corinne did was ask him the question, and then after he answered, she would literally just ask her, and the same question for you, and ask her the same freaking question. She's just like, I guess what he said, because she had nothing left to say.
Yeah.
Jeremy, it seems like the flamenco dancers and drama club have double booked the auditorium for the same 3 days. How would you resolve this conflict?
The flamenco dancers could perform during the drama club's intermission. They sell twice as many tickets and everybody wins. Sorry.
Millie, same question.
I agree with Jeremy.
But basically after that, Jeremy like feels really bad and he confesses that the answers were Millie's and that people should actually just vote for her because she has a lot of good ideas. After that, the debate is over and Jeremy makes up with his sister.
Jeremy actually talks to Millie and, you know, like, he apologizes for everything and, you know, she's happy that he confessed to what he did. He basically has a thought like, oh, she's cute.
He like realizes it
yeah.
now, like after he's not like blinded by Corinne or whatever. I don't really know what you want to say.
Because of this thought, he realizes he didn't say it out loud, and he realizes that he's fixed now. He's not gonna blurt anything out anymore.
So they have this like weird thing in the movie where like he's telling JoJo Siwa that, oh my gosh, I'm not blurting things anymore. And she's like, oh my gosh, really? And he's like, oh, I'll show you. And so he just like stands there and like does nothing and he says nothing because again, he's supposed to be thinking it. And so it's just really awkward. So he's just like, and then
she's like, oh my gosh, it worked!
Like, just because he said nothing. Jeremy breaks off things with Corinne and I guess the roles switched because basically she was looking at him. And like, you know, the awful
you know,
voice again.
And like there's like a slow-mo thing, his hair is flipping around. And so I guess it's like Corinne being like, wait, he's kind of hot now, like from her POV.
But after that happens, it's basically the end of the movie and he's basically wrapping it up and he's like, I guess you would want to know what happened. I don't know, something dumb like that. But he's like, get out of my head already. That's how they literally end off the movie.
It's like, we don't care about you.
What I actually wrote in my notes is, you don't know me. Stay away from me. My house and my family. You perp stalker.
That's it, fellas. That's the movie.
I would like to mention that it actually does say that's it, fellas, in the notes, and this was Sierra's doing because she is Greg Heffley.
Yep.
So yeah, that's it. That's Blurt for ya. I mean, it's not terrible or anything, like, by any means. It's just like,
It's just weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's nothing like I've ever really seen before. I mean, how can you, like, jam a whole movie into, like, 40 minutes? I mean, Monster High does it, but this ain't no Monster High.
To a certain extent, I would even call the movie bizarre. I mean, we might even call it that in the title. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and put a comment down below.
Have you ever seen Blurt before? If you say yes, I will be surprised.
Yeah.
Like, not many people know about this, especially because I feel like a lot of people didn't stay around after, like, the beginning of the Henry Danger phase of Nickelodeon.
So yeah, let us know. Subscribe, and if you do subscribe, you become an honest pal, and you get honest powers. You're the most honest person in the world.
And everybody loves you for it.
We have a gaming channel. A link to that will be in the description. God bless you. Jesus loves you. Have an amazing day. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye!
Get out of my head already.